feel like I've spent my whole career talking about memory-making moments. And senior day for me is the toughest day of the year. It always has been and probably always will be till I'm done. But last night I laid there and I called my equipment man, Dave Pruder. And I said, don't tell anybody, but if we get way ahead or way behind, I'm putting Aaron in. And it's going to be his one shining moment. And when I was able to do that, just felt like all that's good about my job. A lot of times there's a lot of things that aren't as good. But I learned a lot about this team so far this year. 3 weeks ago or whatever time we played Nebraska, I opened up the white elephant, admitted it to you, put the pressure on them. I put it on myself, and they responded. And as I told them just now, the greatest memory-making moment will be for the next 60 years. You're going to understand when your back's against the wall, your neck's on the line, you can do one of two things. You know, you can give up or you can grind. And we grinded, if that's such a word. And I'm very proud of them for that. There were a lot of things we did well. We made some mistakes. Wisconsin's a veteran team. They're a good team. They're struggling a little bit for whatever reasons. That is a very good basketball team. Koenig is an unbelievable player. He just seems like when things are on the line, he makes shot after shot after shot. But I thought we did such a good job, you know, defensively, even though they shot 43% and 27 from the three, or 47 from the three, I guess, 27. We were worried about the rebounding. We out-rebounded them. We were worried about the offensive rebounds. They did have 15 and scored some points. For us, 11 turnovers is awesome. And, you know, we had so many guys like Cassius Winston, you know, not only what he did, but I was in a huddle a couple times. I told my assistant I wanted to put him on Koenig, and I told Cassius after, you ever thought that day would come? And we laughed. And Nick Ward, after a great start offensively and a poor start defensively, bounced back. Miles was a rock. He had a lot of things to do. And Josh made some plays. And so getting McQuaid to bounce back and be somewhat the player that we all knew he could be and we saw last year was big. And all in all, this team 10-6 right now with a chance to win some more games, I think is awesome for them, and it'll be a memory maker for me. So will today. Questions?
Tom, it took 16 games into the Big Ten schedule, but you won from the line, 91%, 21-23, bench points 30-10. I mean, those kind of stats peaking in Game 16 have to be extremely exciting for you.
You know, they really are. They really, really are. There were just a lot of things we did well, you know, and they're not an easy team to cover. They're very physical. And the experience those guys have down in that block. And every time we kind of tried to double down, which we were trying to do a little bit of, they hit a three. I think they did some things, give Greg credit, where they looked awful against double teams a couple weeks ago. The last couple games, you know, they've struggled a little bit, but they've made some adjustments. And the way they moved Hayes around, it was harder to double. And I just thought we left guys on an island down there, and they did their job. But, you know, we needed a good game in a lot of areas, and we got a good game in a lot of areas. You know, rebounding, defense, turnovers, you know, assists, 18 assists. We just did a lot of good things, and I couldn't be prouder of my guys.
Tom, at the closing remarks there, you brought up the 19 years in the streak, and you said the elephant in the room. Can you speak to the significance of that streak to you and that consistency over time and what it means to continue that against
You know, who knows what will happen. I mean, I'm not sure I'll feel comfortable on anything until things happen. But we put ourselves in a position that I can look in a mirror and say we deserved some things. And the significance is what you just said. when you can be consistent year after year after year, because nobody's kidding anybody, guys. I mean, I haven't been able to say it, but we have a shell of our team. I mean, you know it, I know it. It's been hell on those freshmen. It's been hard on us. And we handled it. We've handled it. We've survived it. That doesn't mean we're done yet. Doesn't mean that we can't accomplish some things yet. Doesn't mean that we're over the hump. It just means that we learned how to deal with some pressure. And I learned a lot from them. You know, I told you, this is a learning year for me too. I admit it, I've never gone through anything like this, and I'm proud. That's the best word I can give. Proud of the consistency. And what happens from here, who knows? We still got some games to win.
Coach, kind of building on that point you just made, there was a stretch where Miles got his third foul, Nick had his third foul. They're both on the bench. Your lead goes from 4 to 10 during that stretch. How critical was that, and what was your thought process as to when you felt you needed to get Miles and Nick back in and when you thought you could?
Well, I thought I needed to get Miles in when I took him out. But give Kyle Arns, he hits that big fast break three, and Cash has pushed the ball so well, and you know it's and don't fool yourself. Tom did some good things too. I mean, he guarded that kid most of the night. That was, you know, it was unbelievable what he did too. So we had a lot of guys that did a lot of things. It was hard to get Elvin in foul trouble and Josh in that first half. We were playing with two small guards. They were playing big at times. I don't know. I was going to hold Miles there as long as that lead, you know, didn't get down too much. And then when it got down to, 6 or 7, I got a little nervous. I thought my chance to get Aaron in was slipping. My chance to win a game might have been slipping. And put him back in. He made some big free throws, got a couple big rebounds, and we found a way to win the game.
Coach, when Nick was on the court, you talk about how effective he was.
Oh, you know, Nick is a load down there, and Nick's going to be such a good player when he's got such a long way to go, and he's going to be such a good player, if that makes any sense at all. He's gotten better. He's so much more coachable. He understands things. He can take it now. He understands that we all are in this together and that we're trying to make him better. And I just love the way he responded. You know, that's one thing I will say about this team. Hey, I'm not the easiest guy to play for. Everybody knows, great. It's not the easiest to play at a system where you've gone 19 straight times to the NCAA tournament and it's slipping away and there's pressure on. Those things are harder than all you guys think or know. And Nick Ward was one of the guys that after that Michigan game benched him, and he stepped up. He's been consistently a much better player since. He has still some lags in his defense at times, stepping up on those ball screens, but at least I know that it matters to him now, and really proud of him and what he's done, and hopefully the best for him is yet to come too.
When Ward wasn't in the game and Kenny battling Ethan Happ, you know, something that won't show up in the box score, obviously, but Happ goes 4 for 10 from the field and only scores 8 points. Talk about the job that he did.
Well, Kenny did. You know, we were on Kenny too because it seemed like he was getting pushed around there, and DJ was on him, and I was on him, and everybody was on him. But, you know, another guy that withstood it, you know. And that's what you should do. If you're getting beat, you should get ticked off. And, you know, sometimes it takes me or DJ to get ticked off to get him ticked off. And when he gets ticked off himself, he'll become a lot better player. So that's all part of the growing process that we're working on. But Kenny Goins did a good job. You know, to get 4 players in doubles, I don't think I've talked enough about McQuaid. I mean, he made some big plays and some pretty good defensive plays, and he took a giant step tonight. And so did, you know, I mean, Langford, he just foul trouble hurt him. But, man, I had a lot of guys that played good, guys. A lot of guys.
Tom, 78 points back in the back here. 78 points of the 84 by freshmen and sophomores. It's somewhat fitting that on senior night it's those guys because of this team and how this team is constructed. Not to take anything away from your seniors, but.
Well, I felt a little bad for Elvin because he's been playing so good and shooting so good, but just wasn't in the game that much. He was in constant foul trouble, and but yeah, I didn't realize that. So good thing for the freshman.
Just to double back to Nick for a second, beyond him kind of answering the call after being benched, is this team kind of relearning a little bit to how to play with him and Miles out there together, and what kind of emphasis is on post entries right now?
Great point. I mean, everybody thinks too that people come back and all of a sudden you can play with them, and I mean, Miles, Miles is starting. I mean, Miles is just starting to come. What I mean by that is we've been working harder on him, ripping the ball, getting to the basket, getting fouled. He gets 9 free throws tonight. Nick goes 4 for 4 from the line. You all know we lost games early because Nick couldn't shoot a free throw, save his life, and he's worked on it. I mean, all these things are life lessons. That's what I really get excited about for these guys. It's they're going to realize, whether it be in basketball or life, if you put your nose to the grindstone and you get some things done, what you put in is what you get out. Nick Ward has give Dwayne Stevens and him a lot of credit. He spent a lot of time on those free throws and made some big-time plays. If I get Nick to play a little better defensively on those ball screens, he's going to be a hell of a player. Yeah.
Getting back to McQuaid just for a second, did you sense this at all in practice?
Mm-hmm.
He was making
Last 2 weeks, he's been practicing better. He's been making more shots. It's been fun to watch too, because the players, if you guys interview any of them, they've been pulling. Like I told you, Miles, he gets so excited when he hits a shot, when Matt McQuaid hits a shot, because they all know how good he can shoot, and they all know the slump he's been in. But his defense was better. He rebounded. I don't know how many he got tonight. Probably couldn't get as many. He only got 2 because Winston hogged all the rebounds. That enormous body of his, gets 7 rebounds, so that's pretty good too. But I think McQuaid he just kept working at it, and never stopped coming in, never stopped watching film. This will be a great lesson for maybe fans, but they won't understand it. But players that are in the system, and believe it or not, for coaches like me, learned a lot from these guys so far, and now we got to figure out a way to enjoy it tonight, and then tomorrow start working on Illinois, because they're playing very well. They've won some big games lately. They're tough at home, and we just got to keep getting better. Win, lose, or draw, we got to keep getting better. I think we will.
One final one in back. Coach, back here. You talked about wanting to get Aaron in those closing seconds. Everything goes silent after the ball is inbounded. Is that the first time you've asked somebody to travel for you, McQuaid, there?
Yeah, ticks me off too because of the turnovers, I was trying to keep those turnovers down. I didn't know any other way to get him in, keep him by me so he wouldn't get hurt, and still give him a chance to kiss the head, and it worked. I mean, thank God for the officials. Thank God Wisconsin was okay with it. And I think it was a big deal to Aaron. And it was only me and Pruder knew about it. And we made him dress. And one of the great moments in my Michigan State career was that moment. Thanks.